We are back again. So today we'll be drafting and cutting out the collar. For the fabric, I use the lining to turn it over. The down part is still open and the neck is still rough. I have not closed the neck because I'll be attaching collar to it. So I left the neck rough, it's not closed. So here is the zipper line, here is the neck. So to cut out our collar, we are going to measure the roundness of our neck minus the zipper allowance. So this is the zipper allowance, here is the back. So I want to locate the midpoint and notch. Here is the midpoint, this is the center front. So I'm going to notch it a little. Then from this point here is my zipper line where I'll start fixing my zip. So I'm not going to measure here. So to get the length of the collar, we are going to measure half of our neck. So I'm not adding the zipper allowance. Here is where I'll start fixing my zip. So from this line, I'm going to measure to that center front I just notched. And I have exactly 8 inches here. I'm going to be using this white fabric for the collar, but I'll be drafting it first on a pattern paper because I don't want to stain the white. Okay, so our collar is 8 inches, but I'll be cutting it on fold, and on fold should be around 4 inches. This is my starting line. 4 inches, I'll be adding 1 inch to it for the joining, and I'll be using 5 inches. The length of the collar depends on what you want. So I'll be using 3 inches. Okay, I use 3 inches plus 1 inches for the sewing allowance, and I have 4 inches. Then remember we have 5 inches here, 4 inches plus 1 inch. Then the pointed part depends on what you want. So I'll be adding about 1 inch for the pointed part. You can add more if you want yours to be more pointed. So here is my collar pattern. I'll be cutting this into 4 places because I'll be using same fabric to turn them over. So this is my 4 pieces here. So I'm going to join them and leave the upper part open. So I'll join them this way and leave the upper part here open. You know, here is the pointed part. After sewing, this is what I have. That 1 inch we left, I thought it's for sewing allowance. So I use ½ inch to join them together. I'm going to trim out the excess, then turn it over and iron. When ironing, I discovered that one is longer than the other. So I had to reduce it and sew it again. So make sure they are equal and make sure the tips too are equal, so that one will not be longer or shorter than the other. I'm going to fix it now to my dress. So I'll fix it in between the lining and the main fabric. I'll be turning my dress to the wrong side. To fix my collar to my main dress, so I notched and marked where my zipper line is. I notched and marked it. So my collar, I'll be pushing it inside like this. I'm going to take my collar inside like this. Then I'll start from my zipper line. I'll pin. So I'll pin them together before sewing. So I'm bringing in 0.5 inch to meet the lining and the main fabric. And it stops exactly where I notched before. Remember, we notched the center front, and that is where my collar stopped. Can you see? Okay, so I'll be sewing with 0.5 inch. Then to push the other one inside, make sure it overlaps the other a little bit. There shouldn't be an opening in the middle. Are you seeing? It should overlap the other a little bit to avoid space in the middle. So I'll pin from there, then continue that way. Are you seeing where it stopped? Exactly the zipper line. This is where it stopped. Are you seeing? This is where it stopped. So make sure you measure very well. Even if one is longer than the other, just reduce it a little bit. So after pinning, I'm going to sew with 1/2 inch round. So this is after sewing it. I'm going to remove the pins, trim out the excess and turn it. So I'm going to fix my zip and fix my sleeve too. This is my final look.